Sunday then sees the final of the Club World Cup. Chelsea taking on PSG. Mark Ogden, whether he likes it or not, has been trailing the teams, of course, in the knockout stages. He hasn't been particularly happy with the heat he's had to suffer. He's got company today and got a little bit of revenge on Alexis, considering she's been very much enjoying the AC over the last couple of days.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Now I know why Augie has been complaining about standing out here in the heat all day. But we move. It was all worth it to just get some reaction from Chelsea as they wrapped up their final media day activities before that Club World Cup final. Probably the biggest challenge of Enzo Maresca's career at Chelsea so far, which is the game against PSG. He likened it to a game of chess, a game that he says he loves watching, he loves to see, because he believes that you have to win it up here first. Augie, what did you make of what Chelsea had to say and how they are found before this final?
Yeah, I thought Maresca was kind of bullish. He was asked a question saying, "You won't have much of the ball," and he said, "Who said? How do you know?" And we all know that PSG are going to dominate possession, especially have three midfield. Chelsea will have two. It looks like Caicedo will be fit, Moses Caicedo, which is a massive, massive bonus, but there'll still be two in midfield unless he changes his tactics. So Maresca's confident. He's always quite confident and quite spiky, but he did say it's like a game of chess, but I hope he's good at chess, because he needs to be really good at chess to win this game. I think it's really hard for Chelsea to win this game no matter what, even if they have their best team out. I don't think any Chelsea player gets in the PSG team. But, you know, it's a one-off game. He did reference the fact that Al Hilal beat Man City, Fluminense beat Inter Milan, Botafogo beat PSG. It's possible, but I was at this game on Wednesday, the semi-final. They hammered Real Madrid PSG. It's going to be so hard for Chelsea. It
is going to be hard for Chelsea. Another thing that's going to be hard is a 3 p.m. kickoff in this heat. Is something we've been talking about throughout this tournament, and you can bet that Reece James and Enzo Maresca had to field questions about the heat and playing under the sunshine come Sunday in the press conference. Here's what they had to say.
It's already 1 month we are here, so now we are used to, to play with this condition. It will be for us, will be for them, so it's for both teams.
The climate is so hot, no one in Europe is used to this heat, playing at 3 o'clock. And, the hottest time of the day is super difficult for us to adapt.
El calor es increíble, la verdad no sé. El otro día, bueno, me mareé un poco en una jugada, me tuve que tirar al piso porque la verdad que estaba mareado, la verdad que jugar a esa temperatura es muy peligroso.
How much of a factor do you think is going to play?
I don't think it plays a factor at all, because PSG is the same for PSG. They've all got European players, South American players, British players. It's the same sort of mix. The situation that will define it is that PSG keep the ball better. Chelsea will have to run around the pitch more. It's hot, so that'll make it harder for Chelsea. So that's how the heat will make an impact.
Ultimately, how do you see this going, Augie?
PSG win easily. We were saying before the way here that PSG have played 3 European teams. 4-0, 2-0, 4-0. That's 10-0 in aggregate. I think Chelsea are going to be another one that loses quite heavily to PSG.
All right, well, Chelsea saying all the right things before their big final, but Dan, it's going to be a massive uphill battle for them. But Reece James says he doesn't care about stats or previous forms from teams. They're just going to go out there and prepare themselves as best as they can for this task.
Thank you very much. By the way, Augie's written an article about the heat. And about what lessons, in fact, FIFA can learn looking ahead to the World Cup next summer.
The more that you hear some players talk, the more the mind boggles, really. Sometimes you just think, who's educating these players to press conferences these days? Take Reece James for an example. When he said, we're the most British people, maybe British people, a lot of them come to the United States. They travel all over the world. But where do the majority of British people go for the summer holidays? They go to Europe. Mm-hmm. Reece James just sat there and said, well, the temperatures over here, we're just not used to it because Europeans are not used to that. The British people go to Spain and they go to Italy.
But I suppose they don't go to play football. That's the thing, isn't it? They go there to the beach. They go to enjoy the heat. They're not used to.
He's just said the Europeans are not used to this. We have Enzo Maresca, who's another one that's been whining about it, and he's not been the only one. He's Italian. When the Italian season kicks off in August, it'll be 90 degrees, as it will be in Spain, as it will be in Croatia, as it will be in most places in sort of Western Europe. In the summer, it gets damn hot in Western Europe. That's why most Brits take the 2-hour or 2.5-hour flight for their holidays there. And yet we have players and managers sitting saying Europeans are not used to the temperatures in America in the summer. I mean, what absolute drivel. The one thing that I think some of them are not used to, and it has been more prevalent this year, is the humidity. The humidity has been worse than the heat this year. I'll give you that.
Yep.
But please don't talk about Europeans not being used to the heat when all these Italians and Spanish and all these other countries kick off the season and it's 90 degrees in their country. It's utter stupidity and a silly statement.
I'm looking forward to reading that article.
Oh, good.
Because according to Augie, the players and the teams have learned some lessons about the heat.
Right.
Learn what?
Did he not mean FIFA?
What have you learned?
Drink water regularly.
You can't do anything, though,
No.
to prepare. I remember speaking to you when you were coaching the Revs.
The only thing you can do is make sure you keep the ball and take care of the ball.
Okay.
Because if you don't, as Augie said at the start of that, the reason PSG is going to beat Chelsea is because they're going to be taking care of the ball. And when you're the team running around in that heat, eventually, you flag.
You talked about this a week or so ago. Most of the players, some of them would, but most of them would not be whining if this was the World Cup. Right?
Proper World Cup.
You feel the heat and you feel the humidity and you feel tiredness when you're playing in a competition that you really shouldn't be playing in because it's the end of the season. That's the crux of this matter. If this was a bona fide competition, if this was the World Cup, that when you're a kid, you give your right arm to play in, you're not thinking about the heat. You're not thinking about any of that.
Your day in Mexico, Stevie, against Germany.
There you go.
Exactly. There was not one person from any team in that World Cup playing in Mexico that ever mentioned in press conferences about how hot it was and how tough it is playing at 2 o'clock. Nobody mentioned it. It was all football. It was all about why they lost, why they won. Nothing to do with the weather at all. And that's, again, because it's not a proper World Cup.